Hello and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Morgan. Now, today would normally be Serpent Sunday, but again, we're taking a little bit of a break from that, and we're going to talk about a couple of articles that I've recently read that I plan on making more in-depth videos on in the coming days and weeks, and a little bit about why we've been missing videos here and there. So let's start with, we've been missing videos here and there because I recently had a bunch of midterms come up. I am still in college and that needs to be my number one priority when I have midterms and things. And I got the lucky thing of pretty much all of my midterms and a quiz in the discussion and lab sections for those classes all popped up in a 7-day period, which is super fun and super not stressful at all. And then I'm also in the honors program, which is something I don't talk about a lot because it feels weird to me to talk about and it doesn't really feel like I deserve to be there, but realistically I do because I was asked to apply and then my application was accepted, and it's a weird process to get into honors as a transfer student. You have to be invited to apply, but that's not the point. I'm also working on finishing the big project I've been working on since I transferred to UCR, and it's one of the biggest projects I've ever personally worked on. So I'll talk a little bit more about that when the whole thing's done, which won't be for a few months. And then I'm still working on my research that I got to do over the summer in my internship, and it's a little bit less rushed now, but I still suck at the RStudio and I suck at the coding required to do the research analysis there. So that's been a thing that's been occupying a lot of my time as well. But let's move on and talk about a couple of things that like I said, I am going to get a little bit more in depth, but they're things that the articles are about 10 days old now, and I just at least want to mention them on the channel before I get into them in depth. And the first thing I want to mention, since we did recently talk a lot about wolf conservation and the moves that are being done to delist them from the federal list of endangered and threatened species under the Trump administration, which I am vehemently opposed to. Wolves in the United States definitely still need protection. Their populations are still threatened, and the stability of the species in the lower 48 is in peril. Now, on November 6th, I saw this article from NPR that I will link down below. So, Colorado had this measure on their ballot, Proposition 114, that if passed would bring wolves back and reintroduce them into the mountains in Colorado. That vote passed. So as of right now, wolves are supposed to be reintroduced into Colorado, and basically what this would do is it would connect two populations of wolves and bring them back in a more stable way into the mountain range. Now, of course, this was narrowly passed from my understanding, and they are expecting that it's going to be legally challenged. This measure is going to most likely go to court. There are a couple of organizations that are very against it, notably ranchers and hunters that do plan on challenging the measure. And I do want to get much more in depth into this particular thing because it is good that voters are voting to reintroduce the species. It is good that there is public support of protecting wolves. However, that doesn't change the fact that it should be left up to a state-to-state basis. I still think that they do require a federal protection because, like I talked about in my last video, states like Wisconsin will reopen open hunting on wolves. And that is concerning when there's laws in place that will force the reopening of hunting seasons on a species that is still in peril. And never mind the fact that I think that trophy hunting predators is kind of a disgusting practice. Now, I'm not against hunting in general when it's responsibly managed and every part of the animal is being utilized. It's just trophy hunting specifically that I have a problem with, but that is neither here nor there for this point that we're making. So I do plan on getting a little more in depth. I have been looking into this, but it is fairly complicated and taking a bunch of research that I just haven't had time to do in the last week or so. But hopefully here, most of my big quarter projects are getting to the done state, and my honors project is coming along based on my attention span. So this is one thing that I'm actually pretty excited to get into and continue that whole talk about wolf conservation in the contiguous United States. There is another thing popping up from the NASA site showing the severe drought in South America that was published at the end of October and is a thing that I have been starting to look into that I plan on talking about here in the coming weeks as well, especially since we've been doing that whole climate change suite. But for right now, I will link it down below for anyone that's interested, because this drought is likely one of the symptoms of climate change. And it's concerning since that's where a lot of the tropical rainforests are. The tropical rainforests are already in peril from logging. There have been fires in the Amazon that have largely been set by people. And just drought is going to make things like that worse. And we're going to lose a lot of biodiversity if something is not done to protect it. So that's coming up. So that's pretty much what we have to kind of look forward to here. And I do hope that you're all going to be excited for all that, and we can continue, especially the discussion about the wolf conservation, because that is something that I'm pretty jazzed about. I've always kind of cared about the conservation and all that stuff, so I think that that's a very good step in the right direction, that the vote did go the way that it did in Colorado. However, it's not without its struggles coming up here, and I still maintain that wolves should remain on that federal list of endangered species. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane B. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.